Okay, do we all have the answer to the first one? What's the answer?
R221-1C.10.
Yes, but what's the answer to the question? 30 years, we all get that? And do we all have the abbreviated version written down? Does someone care to come up to and write the abbreviated version?
Alright.
I mean, we're trying to practice using the abbreviated version because that's the standard practice in legal writing, right? Yeah? The abbreviation, yeah. Well, for the abbreviations, they're all kind of in the original language, right? So yeah. Thank you. Okay. Second question. What is it? Someone care to read?
Who exercises the power of the German federal president in case the latter is prevented from exercising his core functions?
Actually, what we'll do from now, because you get the point of the exercise, we'll tackle all of the rest of the questions, and then I'll invite people to come up and write the answers on the board afterwards, okay? All at once. So how long do you guys think you need to be able to complete the task? Sorry?
I already did it.
You already did it? Yeah, well, for the others, I guess. 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go for 10 minutes. Alright.
This book is only constitutional. Nothing. It might be administrative. Could be something. German administrative procedure. This would be So it says here that it has any authority to regulate individual case in public law. Is this the thing with the contract law, public law? The answer is yes, but we have to show the articles. The contract was part of the contract law, but I didn't know what that was referred to, so it is part of the problem. It's not here.
It's the older one that gets selected. I would take the younger one because the younger one knows more about the stuff. We know what's actually happening. The worst one.
Yeah, my bag now is full. Yeah. Come to find something? One of them skip that
All of this
In Mexico, in America, in Belgium, and in Germany.
Do you want to try?
Huh?
Do you want to try?
The other one is elected in the first round. We have a title published, so it's Article 1 to 6. This one. And subsection 2. And the third row. This is 4, I have no idea. No, yes, it's 4.
Which one?
How are we getting on? Is any group done?
Basic law of federal election act, and then there's administrative law.
Oh, I don't know. Do you know where to find it?
Germany? It has to be with the president, with the chancellor. Right?
our lecture like that, which one was it? Right, I don't know. The electrolyzed. Did you find out about it? Did you find out about it? No, I just gave up right now.
About you guys? Okay.
Here. How are you guys getting on?
Okay.
So, this is about the president.
Missing three? Oh, right.
Here.
Right here.
Substitution.
As long as you say
But can I see that like that's scary.
Pick the number there. 24.
yeah. Yeah.
We remember.
The system.
You can just leave it like this. We know.
You good? Shall we say 2 more minutes? Is that enough time for everyone to do the speech?
Yeah, we don't have private law. We have public law. Cool.
The only show article, you don't see what the topic is. So it's gonna take a long time. It's just. One of the people. Oh, that's both. Yeah, the deputies, but I don't know which team that is. I don't know.
No, they're in Germany with actually
Should be something here because it's like a really basic.
Okay. Are we all ready? Ready? Okay, so the second one. What is the question again? What are you looking for?
Who exercises the powers of the German federal president in case the latter is prevented from exercising his or her functions?
And what is the answer? And do you care, does someone care to write the, write the Article 57 and abbreviated version? Yeah? Just so we all know how we're writing these in our essays. Precisely. Yes? Okay. Third question. What's the question?
Under German law, can an employment contract be terminated via SMS?
Answers?
No. No, it must be written. The written one to be effective. 623.
Exactly. Do you care writing it up? Thank you. Okay. Fourth question.
In elections for the French National Assembly, what happens if there is a tie in the second round of voting between two candidates in a district?
What happens?
The older candidates are elected.
Legal basis?
Article L 126 of the electoral law.
Of the French electoral code? Yeah, exactly. And how do we write this? One on the board?
C.
So maybe we have volunteer?
Why is there an L? It's like Article L 126. Why is that?
Does anyone happen to know why French provisions have these L's? No? Maybe we can actually all try look this one up because it's an interesting question.
For the Louis thing, because it says always in the beginning, like in parentheses, Louis and then.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Louis.
Shall we all try to figure it out? Luckily we have something called the internet which has most answers.
Letter intent, but that's not French.
Left or the left? Definite article.
Okay?
Definite article.
Anyone know the difference?
The non-amendable or hard to amend.
Organic law?
And then R is the respect with you or that's what I'm saying.
Organic laws, someone say? What's that?
It's like it's laws that are constitutional and if there's something special with it in terms of amending.
Anyone else?
Loi. It indicates the article is part of the legislative code that was passed by the legislative branch. Oh, so R is regulation, D is the decree, and L is law. I'm confused.
But organic law, right? Organic law has this special constitutional status because it is not per se part of the constitutional law, but it is not also part of the ordinary legislative law. So it falls in between. So it has an important status above ordinary legislation, but it's of a quasi-constitutional status. Okay? Right? Okay, so what is, did we write that one on the board? Yeah, we did. Okay. What's the next question? The answer? And we have two legal bases for this, right?
Yeah, for Germany, it's the German Basic Law, Article 52. And for the US, it's the US Constitution, Article 2, Section 1.
Precisely. And we have basic law already abbreviated, so we don't really need to repeat GG from Gesetz. Do we abbreviate US Constitution in any form?
No.
Exactly. So we write that out in full always. Okay? Next one.
Which of the two chambers of French Parliament is directly elected? It is the National Assembly, Article 24, and the French Constitution also doesn't have an abbreviation.
No abbreviation. Right? The next one. What's the question?
Is the maximum term of imprisonment for the offence of theft higher in the Netherlands or in Germany?
And what does that refer to, that abbreviation? Where are we looking precisely? Yeah, exactly. So the German Criminal Code. And then for the Dutch, 300 times? Yeah.
And says that in the Netherlands it's no more than 4 years. And it says that stands for the Netherlands 3 months.
Exactly. Can somebody write those two provisions up? Yeah? So we have an idea what it looks like. We put the abbreviation after, or
Good question. What's question 7?
yeah.
Obviously says the maximum term of imprisonment for the offence of theft. And there's a couple different ones in the thing. But in the Dutch Civil Code, Article 312, it says 15 years for theft with violence involved, and in the German one it's 10 years. Or
First theft with violence involved.
yeah. Just checking. Because then it would be a different article.
is using force in the first context. So you have to go off of the same basis.
So we're noticing some incongruencies maybe in how they determine their sentencing, right? Yeah. I mean, it's all very specific to whatever state is at hand. Ireland, for instance, rom-com, it typically has lower sentencing years compared to other states. But, I mean, there's usually kind of politics interesting incongruencies. Okay, so we all understand how to cite articles or sections or provisions of master collection? Yeah? Can I ask, is the master collection a primary or secondary source?
Secondary.
Why is that? Exactly. So what's the difference between a primary source and a secondary source?
The primary is more like the original version.
Yeah.
And there's like everything that's translated or
Translated, quoted. Like what kinds of examples of secondary sources might be found? An article, right, in maybe a law journal. Yeah. Would that constitute a primary or secondary source? It's an interesting question, right? Because it is the primary law, it just is translated, and obviously you have to be careful with translations, right? They're not always exactly accurate in different countries. But yeah, interesting point. Other sources of secondary sources? You have articles. Mm-hmm. What's a monograph? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, textbooks as well. And then what kinds of things are primary sources?
interviews.
Interviews, but legal primary sources.
Oh, the legislation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Technically. And for using, no, sorry. Whatever.
Okay. Anything else? For primary sources.
Court judgment.
Yeah. Exactly. Right, especially in the common law systems as well, where that necessarily forms part of the law, where they develop the law a lot through case law. And we understand how the master collections are structured, right? We have this, we have the public law, we have private law, but if we look at the table of contents, what's the difference in how the public law book is separated versus the private law? How do they structure their content?
The private one is structured by country rather than topic.
Rather than by what?
Rather than topic related to
Yeah. So that's just something to be aware of, because essentially the reason why that is, in a private law, in the attempt to kind of break everything up into subjects or topics, it ends up splitting up the civil codes a little bit too much and things become very confusing. So in order to kind of preserve integrity and easy understanding, the private law book is not by topic, it's just by jurisdiction. So you don't break up the civil code so much, right? Okay. So, before we take a brief break, there is just some information for you guys about the university. So have you, the university library. So have you guys been to the library? No? The UCL?
I actually got a question about that.
Sorry?
I actually got a question. Some of the books, I found them in the library and I can use them there. But I want to know if I need any books for the exam, because I can take the books out of the library.
So the books you'll need for the exam are likely to be the master collections.
Only that.
Yeah,
Okay, but
they're closed book.
yeah, I need to know if I need to buy the books or not. So only those are the ones that I need for exam.
Yeah, well, you'll definitely need to buy the master collections, for sure. Yeah.
Oh, but there are others. So just to the other ones I don't use in exam, right?
What other books? Like,
Constitutions compared, I think.
oh right, okay, so yeah, but you have the textbook there, and then you also have the constitutions compared documents. And the document is essentially, this contains primary sources like the legislation in the master collection. So we advise students who maybe are just taking the class as an elective, who won't be studying law for more than a period, to buy the constitutions compared documents because it's cheaper. But the textbook, right, that's more of a secondary source to understand materials. And are you taking constitutional law class?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with what I want to know is if I need those books in the exam, so while I'm taking the exam.
So for constitutional law, it's a closed book exam. You can bring the documents, constitutional law, constitutions compared documents. You can't bring the textbook because that just kind of has the answers to questions, right? The documents where it's just legislation, you can bring, right? Okay. Okay, so the library. Have you guys checked it out at all? Yeah? A little bit? Yeah. So just for your information, there is a wealth of books and articles available in the library. So if you guys are writing a paper, for instance, a midterm, it may be useful to go to the library and make use of those facilities. For those who prefer doing things more just on their laptops, if you look up the University Library's website, right? Have you guys been on this page before? Some have, some haven't. Right? So if you guys are looking for resources, for instance, this is the tab we go to. Okay, we go straight into the resources tab if we want to find books, if we want to find articles, if we want to find case law, right? And the university essentially has subscriptions with a number of important legal databases. So if you just look up these databases on Google, you won't be able to access because it's through the library website that your student ID allows you to access these case law or the legislation or whatever you might need to research. So this is actually quite important. So there's many different things we can do with this. For instance, if we want to do like a quick one search for maybe a book or something like that, we can just use this panel here. I was researching a bit on hate speech, so we can just look up and usually you can find the books you need, and you can see if it's on like an ebook version, which can be really helpful if you're trying to jot down notes on your laptop. Just click in. Usually it's fairly self-explanatory, and then you can go into different sections. Yeah. So you can read it, you can usually download sections. There's usually like a limit per book on how much you can download. If you download it, you can read it. But for copyright reasons, you can usually only print around 50 pages of a book. But you can be selective in what pages you want to print. Okay? So, also, if we are trying to get ebooks, journals, if we're trying to look for case law, this is where it's especially very important. It can be quite hard to find specific case law just through a Google search and to have access to it, because usually they're behind a paywall or something like that, right? So this is how you overcome that. You use the database window, and here there's a number of different legal databases which might be of use to you, right? So for instance, if you're looking for like UK case law, the best database you can use is Westlaw. Okay, so you'll have Westlaw next, and you have Westlaw UK. So Westlaw UK just exclusively has UK case law. Westlaw Net is a little bit more broader, but it's mainly common law jurisdictions. So you have the US, you have like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, different common law jurisdictions, right? But for instance, if I'm trying to look up a case, for instance, a case in the UK, we can go through here. Okay, so here is our search bar, and what can be really frustrating for first years is they'll look at the name of the parties in the case, right? So you usually have the two parties of the case in the case name, and they type it in, and usually there'll be like a load of different confusing results, and you can't find exactly which one you're looking for. So the best way to be specific in your case searches is you just use the case citation. So for instance, if I'm looking up a famous UK case, and I know the case citation. Okay, so these are what case citations look like. It usually has the year, and for instance, an abbreviated version of the court, so the appeals court, and the number, right? And you search on it. And then you get the case name, right? Duncan versus Stevenson, the landmark UK case on civil liability, right? Okay, and you have the case digest, a little summary, and you can read the case in full. Okay, you can usually download it as well from these links. Okay. So yeah, that's the UK database. For French case law, you also have Delots and .fr. For German, you have Beck online. You have for Dutch case law, Kluwer Navigator. For EU law, you also have Eurlex, and this is like one of the ones that you can just get on Google. So if you can also use the library database, but for any EU case law that you're looking for, this one has it all free. And you don't need any paywall or anything. It's very easy to get into, very easy to use. You have case law, national law, case law, and you also should have, the treaties and stuff like that, which you already have in your master collections. Okay? So, when you are doing research for a paper, for instance, your constitutional law midterm, these are really good. Okay? That's just information rant about how to use the online university library. Any questions on that? Yeah.
The resources that aren't in English, and we don't know the language that they're written in. If we then translate it, and like the translation is incorrect, what happens? Or are we just not advised to use language that we can translate?
Generally, well, in first year at least, you shouldn't encounter those issues. But on a lot of these databases, for instance, the French case law and Delots, it's pre-translated, so you can kind of set the language as well, which can be quite helpful.
Yeah, and the EU law as well.
Yeah, exactly. EU law will have all of the EU languages available for you to read. Yeah. Okay, any other questions on that? If you navigate a search, whatever kind of books, articles you're looking for. Yeah? Okay. And then also, what I tend to do when I'm researching is just use Google Scholar for articles. If you're looking for articles, Google Scholar can be quite helpful as well. But if you can't have access, if there's a paywall or something, then go back onto the university library and try search for it. Right? Okay, do we need a break? Yeah? Should we take 10? 10 minutes? Okay.
First couple of lessons, but to see what sort of things I need to do. I'm just wondering if there was something in the lessons I should know.
For the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, something that will come later on. So if I miss something important.
Well, I definitely would just go through the weeks, and usually in the Canvas, for instance. In Canvas, you'll find everything that you need to do.
I know about the research online. I'm just wondering if there was something class specific that I didn't.
No, everything should be covered. Yeah, here. So if you do the tasks and you have any issues, if you can't complete them, for instance, you can either just send me an email. My email will be on the Canvas page, right? Or just ask me in the next class. So just try do all the work which they've already done in the previous 2 weeks, and then you'll be completely up to date. It's not as much as what you have to catch up in on constitutional law, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I was just checking if there was anything specific that's not there and you did in class.
Nothing specific. Yeah, just generally, yeah.
Okay, I have another question that's slightly unrelated.
Yeah.
I'm looking for a specific topic from it's kind of related to law, but it's something that I've seen and I want to find another source for it.
Okay.
It's basically the presumption of innocence, but I've seen it explained in I found it easy to understand manner. That the new hypothesis, I already explained it to my other teacher, maybe he knew it. I didn't mean it, I can show you. Just,
Okay.
maybe you know a book or something that I can search this topic and
For the presumption of innocence.
yeah, basically this is what I found.
Okay.
H0 is one option.
Yeah.
H1 was the other. And this one represented the defendant. And we assume that this option means that he's innocent, this one that he's guilty. And the main point of the article is that this one, that he's innocent, remains true until this one is proven to the greatest possible extent. So
Yeah.
basically, the presumption. But the way it was explained was something that I found it
Sure.
it's easy to understand.
Sure, the language of like statistics you found it easier to
I found
understand.
it was really clear. So I'm just wondering if there is anything on this topic that I could find in a law book or something that you have here in the university.
Is that like what was the source you were reading?
It was so from my former university we had a few law-related courses and a few statistics-related courses, and one PowerPoint presentation showed us this.
Oh, okay.
And I thought there would be more here about it because it's law-related, so that's why.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like what the academic was doing was trying to use the language of statistics in order to articulate something, a concept in law, right?
Yeah.
So it's like an analogy.
Yes.
Yeah? But I'm not sure if you can find like more research on that. I feel like that's an educational exercise in me
That'll be it.
to try to explain something, right?
Okay.
So it's not like a topic you can investigate further per se. It's more like an educational tool to understand something, right? But I mean, it would be interesting to see if other scholars use statistics in order to explain legal concepts. So maybe that's somewhere you could start, just like looking up interdisciplinary.
Do you have any, I don't know, communications where you can find that in the library? Or?
I honestly, no, I don't. Yeah, it seems very specific.
Yeah, but it was something that I saw, and I figured, libraries big, maybe they have something.
Yeah.
Something on the topic.
Yeah, but if you're interested in more like empirical stuff, there's a whole body of literature that you can look into on legal empirical scholarship, which it's its own thing, right? So it's like ascertaining true data through the collection of data, either surveys, interviews, or quantifying certain numbers in order to make certain findings about the law, right? So that's a whole body of law itself, and it kind of links statistics with law, this empirical legal scholarship. I'm not sure if that's also something you're interested in.
Kind of. This one was a really specific thing that I wanted to do a bit of research.
Yeah, well, from my understanding, that's an analogy, right? It's an analogy.
Not a thing of itself.
It's not a subject that you can research per se. But yeah, I mean, if you tinker around with Google, maybe you could find the academic who did the presentation. Maybe he has a paper where he also uses that analogy, right? So I don't know if it's as mainstream beyond
It's
that.
probably difficult to find it in all.
It seems to be specific to what this particular academic did in his presentation, right? Yeah.
Right, I was just curious about if there was something on the topic, I really wanted to find it.
Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
We wake up at like, I would say, normal person, like 5 for like from 7 to 3 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, you probably find it there too.
Like 7 a.m. I start work. Usually,
All it is it contains legislation. Like
we all work like from 7. It depends on the work you're doing, but the average is like from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Then you get out of work. For example, go to work first. This is like
7 p.m.
and you're just so tired.
So the thing, I was like, maybe I was just.
For example, I ended mine in primary school. I ended class. I started at 7:20 classes and ended at 4 p.m. Full day class. And that's so early and everything. We end our work late, so we have like those few hours by search. So we actually and here, dead.
No. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm grateful that we have those classes a little bit later in the day because I can actually get sleep and do and then. But the next day I'm so tired sometimes and I'm like, huh?
I would prefer this over the 8:30 lecture. It's just like this is 3 hours lasting and
If you really
such
are
a
relying on their
time.
ideas, or if you're relying on
I'm like, I would prefer like, for example, one more tutorial to post earlier, so I would try to do balance.
Examination.
I can do sit there and the whole day off, do something productive,
I just want to get through it.
and that's it, and then I'm good.
I was like, that shit. I was like, no. a lot of
terms
people
of
Especially
now,
because
like,
you like can do a lot of things if you have
No,
your
no, no.
tutorials so early. So like
from the beginning.
there's most of the things like
process of that
other are
Mm.
actual things.
Yeah, well, this is
Activities
more
and
just
stuff like that.
for
It's
education
mostly
in those
but
future
I
classes
have
where
like
you're really actually doing
I mean, the thing
on
with
site
this
and so on.
class
Right now,
is that since I'm productive in the morning, I want to
Right,
get to
so-
the first thing, like, and then I'm working on it. Sure, I don't have the hardship, but I am on the other side of the river, you know, close to the station. You know where the pole is? Yeah, I live in one of those houses. Yeah, so it's, you know, a 5-minute-ish bike ride, but which isn't far at all, but it still feels like it's gonna take me long to go from here home, have lunch, stay there for a bit, go back. So instead I'm gonna spend the whole day at the a long time.
I mean, if you're, it depends on how you use it. If you're using it and having it, it can reduce things.
But there are people who have 8:30 every morning.
If you're using it
I mean,
for,
I'm used to really early classes.
but if you're just using it
I'm like,
to
okay,
just
I can live with this.
then you can
It's just like knowing that you will never get up when your alarm rings. That's not
yeah, like, I'm not
no stress in the morning.
I was like, today,
like happening.
I put my alarm for like 8
I'm gonna
a.m.
clean my apartment
because
while I
I
took a
had
nap.
to get some stuff done.
Sorry that basically.
And I just walk out.
And he has classes every single morning at 8:30. And so he sets an alarm for 7, which means that I wake up at 7. And sure, he tries to stay. Sometimes he sleeps a bit longer, but you know, I hear, you know, him making breakfast. I hear him upstairs. And I wake up, I'm just getting up.
In my house,
Because we have 3 floors. My floor, I have a roommate. Other floor is like 1 room for each roommate. And my roommate is getting up at 7, so I have roommates. But my other roommates, they're waking up like after me. So like,
It's a nightmare.
Okay, so for the next exercise, the main idea, and it's something that may have been clarified a little bit through